The kids are minding their own business, then suddenly an explosion goes off and they shoot in the direction of the explosion. Horror can come in different forms, like being scared of water, being scared of holes. But in the case of The Horizon, it's being alone in a war-torn country that makes you ask yourself, what's even the point if everything in the moment is ugly? Basically, this story of kids is dealing with the horrific parts of life, and I'm trying to stretch this to fit into my niche of horror content. Check out my other videos. Enjoy. We're introduced to a boy. His mother's trying to hide him from the chaos on the streets, but he only hears gunshots. The boy gets out of hiding. The street is covered with dead bodies. Then he finds his mom with a headshot wound. In a panic, he tries to place her brains back in her head, but in reality, his mother is dead. She has been standing by his side just a few moments ago, and now she's lying on the ground lifelessly. The boy felt it was the end of his world. He's a victim of a war-torn city. As time passes, the boy was lost in thought, reflecting on his tragic reality and thinking about the value of life, his own life and death. He reached a conclusion, or an idea, that he engraved in his mind and heart. The value and meaning of life is something fictitious that can be fabricated and destroyed by man. Life merely exists to approach death. Amidst the obscurity of existence, we all gradually disappear. That was the truth and fact discovered by the boy. The boy stood on his 2 feet and moved forward, walking. That was all he can do, surviving day by day until he found a bus to sleep. When laying, memories of his dead mother and others, also the unstoppable violence would repeat, making the night seem endless. The next morning, the boy met a girl on the bus. They're staring at each other, not saying a word, but thinking the same thing. We probably shared the same experiences, and we are living similar lives. A loud explosion broke the silence. Outside is turning into a battlefield. The boy grabbed the girl's hand and ran, while people around him died. The boy wondered why the world had turned out like this. He's getting flooded with horrors he saw. Then he asked himself, if this is how our life is gonna be, maybe it's better to just... After looking at the girl, he grabbed her hand again and ran with all his might. The boy asked, why do people feel the need to survive? After escaping the battlefield, they sit down and stare at each other, finally breaking the silence with "Hi." From that day, they traveled together. For a while, they would walk without saying a word and help each other by sharing food or treating each other's injuries. When they reached the road, the girl asks where they are going. The boy responds, anywhere, but one thing's for sure, the road ends somewhere. The girl says the earth is round and it holds on to us so that we don't fly into space. Maybe that means they'll be able to keep moving forward. A few days pass and they're walking. Then a guy sees them in a distance and tries to wave them down. For some reason, the boy is terrified of the man, but the girl isn't and waves back at him. There's a sudden gust of wind and the man begins shrieking and running across the field. The kids walk away, but the strange man starts following them. The boy says they won't be able to run away from him, so he hopes that he won't hurt them. But the boy couldn't shake off the fear and anxiety that came over him. The boy starts drinking his water, but the strange man takes it away from him by force, pushing him down, chugging the whole thing. The girl offers her water, but the boy stops her, saying it's not a good idea. If he sees the water, he'll take it, so don't take anything out of your bag. The boy's plan now is to escape when the strange man sleeps. Maybe the man isn't all there mentally, because he legit pees in front of them. I'm as shocked as the kids, crazy. Night comes, and the man fell asleep. They walk away, everything's going according to plan. Then an explosion goes off in the distance, waking up the man. He charges towards them, crying, and they try to run. The man hugs the girl, shocked that their plan failed. The following day, the man stayed up all night. The boy wondered why his plan failed. Maybe they were just unlucky. They'll try again tonight, but the problem now is that how would they eat without him knowing? The boy thinks that he'll be fine not eating today, but what about the girl? The boy distracts the man so the girl can drink. Night comes and the man refuses to sleep. The plan fails again, but he will not give up. No human can go on without sleeping forever. They'll escape in a few days, but the kids ran out of water. They need to find water and hide it from him for later. So thanks to the plot, they found a river. All three of them run towards it, but the girl fell from dehydration. The boy grabbed water for her. The man is eating frogs raw. When the kids are cooking, the girl realizes that the man is scared of fire. Later, the boy wakes up in the middle of the night to pretend that he's waiting for a chance to escape, making the man worry and thus keeping him up, so in a few days, he'll fall asleep from exhaustion. 3 days pass and finally the man collapses. They walk away. The girl looks back with some hesitation. She tries to convince the boy to let the man stay with them, but responds, what will happen if they run out of food? He will attack them, or if they find food, they'll have to compete with them to eat. But the girl feels sorry for him and starts crying. The boy gives in and lets him travel with them, but he isn't happy. One day, the man gives the girl a frog as a gift. At night, the boy thinks that the man is taking the girl away from him, and seeing him dance, The following day doesn't ease his worries. They come across dead bodies. The boy finds a knife on one and saves it for later if problems arise. At night, the girl apologizes for the man tagging along. The boy confesses that before me and her, he wouldn't have mind dying alone, but me and her on the bus, everything worries him. The girl says let's live for a long time, and it would be amazing if everyone had the same friendship they have, because they wouldn't hurt or hate each other and feel lonely. The boy is willing to try to have a friendship with the man, if that's what the girl wants. Days pass and they're all getting along, sharing frogs and stuff. Maybe this will work. Night comes. The boy and the girl watch fireflies together. The man wakes up and sees them, goes up to them, hits the boy out of the way, and is about to do the unthinkable. Luckily, the boy stabs him multiple times, grabs the girl and runs away. The man chases after them. He steps on a landmine, blowing off his leg, screaming it hurts. This is the first time he talks, so I wonder if he was pretending not to talk, you know? The kids are back on the road, comforting each other, when suddenly they get hit by a dart, knocking them out. One of the kidnappers says that these kids did nothing wrong and they don't deserve this. Then another says, we must sacrifice the few to save the many, and accept that this is the reality now. The kidnappers enter the city, the driver gets sniped, and others get taken out by traps, only leaving one man who is sympathetic towards the kids, telling them not to do bad things when they get older. He then peeks for the gunman and gets shot himself. The man in the suit rescued the kids. The suit man asks them if they killed anyone before they got here. The boy lies and says no. The suit man says good and walks away. Girl tells the boy they received treatment on their legs, but won't be able to walk straight. At dinner, the suit man says he gave them treatment and food, but he wants help in return. He'll explain what it is later. Lying in the bed, the kids talk about the suit man and how nice he is from rescuing them from the kidnappers. But the boy switches the mood by saying what would have happened if he didn't save them, and they may not have been alive right now, maybe wishing they were dead. The girl says that she's scared of dying and being in danger. She's satisfied coming this far, but the boy says they'll keep walking together. The following day, the suit man brings them to a room full of computer screens monitoring every angle of the city. If they see someone with a weapon or look suspicious, they'll use a walkie-talkie to give them the screen number. The boy takes his job seriously and informs the suit man of every sighting. The suit man snipes and detonates traps, while the girl is in shock, watching the events from the screen. The boy's expression hasn't changed. The suit man cleans up the human remains, ending the workday. At dinner, the girl is worried about the men they killed. The suit man breaks it down like this: they were holding guns, whether it was for a great cause or desire, good or bad. Carrying a gun means they're willing to kill to get what they want, to minimize casualties caused by those men, to kill people with guns to make the world peaceful. He brought justice for people they killed and saved people who would have been killed. To prove this mindset, the kids are alive because of him. The girl breaks down, saying, isn't there a better way? It's saddening to kill and to be killed. In the middle of the night, the boy asks the suit man to teach him how to use a gun. He agrees. The next morning, the girl tells the boy that she wants to go somewhere else when his leg gets better. The suit man comes by and takes him to work, but the girl refuses to help the man and gives her another job of helping him cook. The man takes the boy and leaving the girl alone, while gunshots are heard from the window. The man in the office coughs up blood. Remember this, viewer. Then the man explains why the world turned out like this. Man is governed by environment, emotions, instincts, memories, and information, and he's no exception. So writing in a book can help organize your thoughts and aid in thinking independently. You need to think independently, to the point of cruelty, to protect someone. Now at work, the man sets off a bomb, leaving one survivor. The boy suggests they should let him go because he's not a risk anymore. The man says, what's important is that we don't know what he's thinking. The suit man says there's a lot of risk, but what's clear is that he has a weapon to kill. Yeah, some innocent people die, but they are few. It's more efficient to kill people with guns. It's the only way to achieve peace. To make the boy understand, he asks, where do you think the survivor will end up if he doesn't fall into any of their traps? The boy realizes that the survivor will end up at their home building. The girl watches as the survivor dies on the street. The suit man checks up on the girl's wounds, and we find out he used to be a doctor. He asks what the girl wants to be when she grows up. She says she wants to live with the people she loves. She asks him to come with them, but he says he can't. He explains when he treated her legs, he had to disinfect the wounds, killing countless bacteria. There must have been good bacteria among them, but her leg could get better because he killed all the bacteria. It's the same as what he's doing here. The girl argues that people aren't bacteria, but in his eyes, people and bacteria are no different. The value of living things is determined by each individual. At dinner, the suit man asks where they'll go. The boy says they have no place in mind. They'll just keep walking forward. But if they ever get to a peaceful place, they'll live there. The suit man tells them that roads always end, and it's impossible to keep moving forward. No one can keep moving forward. But the boy says they'll make it happen. Now the boy is training with the suit man. He gave a boy a live target, one of the men who kidnapped him. This is a life-changing crossroad for the boy. He was resolute when he decided to learn how to use a gun, but the hesitation that came over him was stronger than his willpower. Killing someone before his eyes, of his own volition, meant that he was killing the life that he had led thus far. Men like this killed the suitman's wife, justifying their actions by claiming that they're punishing sinners. They felt no guilt or remorse for what they did. Rather, they prided themselves on the horrific deeds they committed. The boy pulls the trigger, only shooting him in the leg, not killing him. The boy says that he won't be a threat anymore, even though he kidnapped them before. They're alive, so they don't need to kill him, but shoot him in the leg because he hurt their legs, leg for a leg. The suitman asks, what happens if this man wants revenge? The boy says if that's the case, it's better to kill him, but he's human like them. He poses no threat, so he can't kill him. The suitman claims that he used to think like that too, but that's not the case for them. Then shoots the man, then gives the boy some advice. You must shoot anyone who has been a threat to you without hesitation. If you hesitate, it will be too late. Also, he didn't follow orders to kill this man, and didn't seek vengeance, being blinded by rage, so he didn't need to kill him, the boy, meaning he passed the test. But hold on. When the suitman was saying that they justified their actions by claiming they're killing sinners, the same could be said about him. He's killing bacteria in a sense of protecting others, and he's kind of priding himself on that because he's like, I'm not gonna leave because I got this job to do. He holds this job to a high standard, I guess. Back at the building, the girl is looking for meat in the fridge. She can't find any. Then she sees a trail of blood on the ground and does the reasonable thing and follows it. It leads her to this big door. She opens it, and human bodies are hanging from the ceiling. So all the meat up to this point was human meat. Further in this locker room, a man is chained up, hanging. Still alive, the man asks her to help him down. She hesitates because he's a bad man who kills people. He admits he killed people, but people in this world cannot be simply divided into good guys and bad guys. In some ways, everyone is good and everyone is bad. The girl says it doesn't change the fact that murder's wrong. He claims that he's remorseful now, and murder is wrong. But watching someone die without helping him is also wrong. Kind of in a way, the girl's responsible for his death, guilting her to help him. She worries that he'll kill more people, but he reassures her that once he's free, he won't kill anyone. She goes and finds the keys. Before freeing him, she asks him to pretend that he's still chained up until tonight so he won't get caught and she won't get blamed for freeing him, and they'll escape together. The girl cooked the dinner all by herself. The suitman asked if she made it with the ingredients in the fridge. She said yes, but I wonder if she still used that human meat or if she went the vegan route. Lying in bed, the boy and the girl waited until the suitman fell asleep. They were also worried about their future. They go down to where the man was chained up. He's gone. The suitman walks up behind him, knowing he escaped. Instead of being angry, he congratulates her, saying that this was a part of his plan, and tells them to take whatever they need and leave this place. The boy and the girl walk on the road, and they encounter the trucks full of armed men. The man that the girl let go was the leader of this group. He lets them pass. On the roof of the city, the suitman is holding a detonator and a picture of his family, blowing up as soon as the armed men enter. The explosion's seen for miles. The boy and the girl resume their journey. This arc shows how the suitman is testing to see if their humanity is gone. The girl freeing the gang leader. To support this, the suitman congratulates her after freeing him. Also, he was trying to force his views on the boy to prevent him from making mistakes that he may regret, or things the suitman believes he'll need to survive in this world. Also, when the suitman says that roads always end, this is him giving up on life and not wanting to move forward. Him accepting things that cannot be changed, which is the opposite mindset of the kids who are optimistic, even though he tells them that roads always end. I could be looking in this too much. Also, this arc brings up the question of what is good and what is bad. I cannot answer this, but it's up to interpretation of how you view things. An example of this is that the suitman believes that he's right because he's killing these bad people, as well as you can try to make the argument that those men with guns are right in some sort of universe. To sum up this point, basically how the leader said, people in this world cannot be simply divided into good guys or bad guys. In some ways, everyone is good and everyone is bad. The boy's having a bad dream. We'll touch on this later because another version of this will appear. It all kind of ties together. The boy and the girl surviving day by day, basically enjoying life, being with the loved one. The boy and the girl wish that this moment would last forever. The boy's coughing gives the girl flashbacks. She starts tending to him. The girl and the boy are destined to experience separation. A wolf shows up. The girl points the gun towards it, but too scared to shoot. Luckily, thunder scares the wolf away. The boy's coughing starts again. We're back on the bus where the girl and the boy met. It's full of people. The wife, the husband, the baby, the novelist, the girl with glasses, the old man, and the driver. They're going nowhere in particular, just living day by day. They drive past dead bodies. The dad explains to the girl that sadly everyone dies someday, and he will too, while everyone hears. Bumming the mood. They loot places to find supplies. This is early in the war because he gives them news that he heard on the radio that most cities are destroyed and the government lost power. That night, the driver tells the survivors that they have 4 days worth of food left. One night it's raining and the baby's crying, and the man's coughing gets louder. The dad tells the old man that they're coming up on a city where they may find medicine for him. He's about to touch his shoulder and the novelist stops him, saying, "It's an infectious disease." He learned about it while doing research on his next novel. Those dark spots are the symptom of the disease. If they had a doctor with medical equipment, he may have a chance. Next, they decide to have the old man leave the bus. The novelist reveals that others may be infected. The woman with glasses asks, "How long do you think we have?" When she was young, she didn't think of the meaning of life was unimportant. Getting older, she thought that she'll realize the meaning of life. But now she doesn't understand it at all. We just live day to day like this and end up dying. The following day, the novelist is walking off the bus. Before leaving, he talks about his life. His parents were strict but kind. They weren't rich or poor. His dog died because his nephew gave him chocolate without understanding the consequences. The old couple next door every morning would argue. Is that life gone now? Later at night, the woman with glasses says there's no point in her eating. It was a mistake for her to believe that happiness would come. Even if they do find happiness, it's an inevitability that it will disappear. Life, no matter how meaningful, will cease to exist. One day, the core of her being disappeared. What does it matter if she lives her life meaningfully or meaninglessly? There's nowhere to hide or take shelter in the world. We're all just being swept by the waves of this cold, dark sea, waiting to vanish. Late at night, the woman with glasses walks in the forest. The following day, the men find her, with the cut on her neck and the knife laying next to her. That's 3 people down out of the 9. Days continue to go by. The wife calls her husband, while revealing a rash under her bandage. Everyone knows what will happen next. The driver stops the bus, and the husband pulls a knife on him. The driver says, "What's his plan after that?" Thinking to himself, whether we continue moving or not, nothing will change. Everyone will die sooner or later. Him having a flashback during his time deployed, yelling, "The ones who still have a chance must fight to survive." The husband believes that his wife still has a chance, and maybe they'll find a doctor in the city up ahead. Maybe the novelist was lying. The driver wants to believe that too, but even if one person hasn't been infected by a disease, they must protect them. That's the only way we'll ever be remembered in this world. The husband doesn't care about being remembered. Nothing matters when your loved one's dying. His wife gets him to put down the knife. She hands the baby to the girl. The husband and the wife get off the bus together. Now 4 of them left. The dad asks the driver to take care of the children when it's his turn. He nods. The dad starts reflecting. I clearly and definitely exist, but these senses, will they disappear? Will I disappear? And will my child someday disappear? The girl asks the dad where they'll go after they die. The dad doesn't have an answer. The girl and the dad hopes that there's a heaven, so they can meet everyone. The dad thinks if only he could stop time. Yes, as long as I live, I will love the fullest. Live in the moment. As long as I give my all right now, it'll be okay. Then he looks at his hand. The time has come. The father has to leave. The girl is calling out to him not to go while the driver is holding her back. The dad tells her to be strong and remember that the earth is round, and if she keeps moving forward, she'll meet him again. He's going to get treatment and get better. When they meet again, they'll never say goodbye. He promises that. Now that the 3 of them are left, the only thing keeping the dad moving is his memories of his daughter. Days pass, his condition's getting worse, but he's still keeping his promise. Rash reaching his face. He hasn't cried in days. Do the physical body, the memories, and feelings disappear with time? You are born from dust, and thus you will return to dust. He looks at his hand. Maybe he won't keep his promise, but at the same time asking why he made that promise. An external goodbye? How can anyone accept that? However, in that final moment of dying, you have no choice but to believe. The driver teaches the girl some things. One day, the baby coughs, leading to its death. Then the driver gets shot. The girl sticks with him until he dies. She drags him out of the bus and buries him, leaving the girl, the last survivor. She cried out of pity for herself and mankind. Then a few days later, the girl met the boy. The girl wakes up to the boy being alright. They start their journey again. They come across a field of yellow flowers. This is where the boy asks the girl to marry him when they get older. She says yes. They start talking about their future together, of having a wooden house. They were happy regardless of what's happening in the world, as long as they were together hand in hand. Then they ran into an old man, asking them where they were going. The boy says forward. Old man says why? Boy responds, because they've been moving forward all along. The old man doesn't understand because he's been here waiting, but doesn't know why. He starts freaking out, saying, what am I going to do? They walk away. Moving forward, it would rain, and soon sunshine would shine upon them. There would be days where they fight or stop to rest and talk about what the clouds look like. They wish this would last forever, and then they reach the end of the road. They continue to move forward, the road slowly disappearing. They come across other kids. Both boys raise their guns, aiming at each other. Why is the world this way? Both girls frightened. The boys yell, drop your gun. The two girls ease the situation. They put down the guns. A missile is flying over them, and bam! They both start shooting. Only the blonde girl and the boy are standing. The boy looks down and sees the girl is dead. The blonde girl grabs her partner's gun and shoots herself. The boy thinks about doing the same thing, then puts it down and sits in silence. He gets up and thinks, we're moving forward. He reaches the ocean, in a sense reaching the end of the road. Old memories of his mom, future wife, and everything leading to this moment. He walks the beach until he passes out. Then he gets rescued by a soldier. The pastor says it's all futile. Everything is absolutely futile. The boy is now an old man, living in a wooden house he dreamed of in his younger years. Days come and go. He thinks he's going to die alone, sitting on the beach watching the waves come and go, and thinking about the people he knew dying. That's how he views life, living to die. The following day, he sees footsteps in the sand and goes to investigate. He finds a nice little tent where someone made it their home. A couple steps out of the bushes. The man is missing an arm and a leg, and his wife is missing an eye. The old man aims his gun. He thinks back to the blonde kid from his youth and puts the gun down, apologizes, and walks away. Sometime later, the couple gives the old man fruit as a thank you. He says no thanks and leaves his fishing gear. At night, he's thinking about the couple, and in a way thinking about his own relationship he had with the girl. Now he's lonely, feeling that he's floating in a sea, fighting to stay afloat, and he thinks that life doesn't want to acknowledge his existence. He's sad. He looks at the sky out of desperation but sees darkness. My interpretation of this, he feels that life is against him, and him looking at the sky and seeing darkness can be of him not seeing his misery ending, like not seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. The old man wakes up in the morning, saying that they left fruit and fishing gear. He returns to fruit basket full of fish, and notices that the husband's an artist, thinking it's a nice talent to have, reminiscing on his past. They gift him a flower necklace, and over the days they come and visit him, and they grow closer together. One day the man watches them. This panel, to me, is him seeing them as a light in his darkness. A man washes up on shore and they bury him. Everything is futile, and I'm afraid. The old man is on his bed, thinking of the events throughout the years. Does life even have meaning? Waves rise and fall. People scream. At night, all three of them are around a campfire. The old man tells them that when he was younger, he believed that he could walk forward forever because the earth is round, and it grounded them. The husband says that he's scared, but everything has to end, like pain and hatred. He's scared to live and to die, and that they'll face greater afflictions and agonies from now on. And he's afraid of that, but he has faith. The old man goes home and thinks that man is made out of proteins, fat, soul, and ego. Once it stops functioning, man ceases to exist, memories disappear, and man fade into nothing. The wife is pregnant. The husband says at first he was worried because he doesn't want the child to suffer hardships they faced, and nothing can be guaranteed in this world, not safety or hope. That moment, he felt life in her, and his world was filled with a warm light. He was overwhelmed with boundless amount of love and affection. I imagine the old man saying this part. As you look at this tragic world, you're probably shedding tears for us. You're probably praying for us. A giant wave drags the husband to the ocean. The old man runs into the beach, continuing his monologue from earlier. This is the fate of man. This reality cannot change. Cry until you can't no more. That is all we can do. No, he can't accept that. He runs into the ocean. While diving, the sea is filled with dead bodies. I view this as others who accepted his mindset earlier, who believe that this is reality and you can't change it. Basically all doom and gloom. He reaches closer to the husband and sees himself. Grabbing the husband, the old man doesn't know where to go. Still thinking the world is awful, he reaches for the light and realizes that above the horizon, the sun rises. Time passes. The old man is now a grandpa. One day a whale washes up on shore. His granddaughter is sad that the whale is dying, but grandpa tells her it's alright, they'll see him again someday. Now it make you ask, life took away a lot of things from the boy, but it also taught him a lot. What did the boy think of the sorrow and happiness he experienced? It wasn't an easy journey. The boy learned love/warmth that could ease it away. He goes off to fish, seeing his younger self, and saves himself from the sea of despair.